everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Bruna and today we are going to be crocheting the top you saw at the beginning of the video. Super fun, super different and cute at the same time, colorful, basically perfect for spring and summertime. That's why I wanted to start with this top because it's the perfect one for you to wear at the beach. Also, when it's sunny outside and you want to go to the park, you can actually wear this top. It's super fun. So this is what I'm going to be showing you in today's video. I'm super excited. I love how this top turned out. I wasn't expecting to love this top this much. Trust me, I thought it wouldn't work because it's crochet and it's not super stretchy as the original top. So I never thought it would work so perfectly like it did. And the story behind on how I found this top was on Instagram. It was advertised to me and I loved the colors, and when I looked at the colors, I had some very similar colors at home. As you saw, it's very similar, probably a little bit darker than the original but super similar. And then I was like, oh my god, I have the yarn and I could actually make that in crochet. This top is also a 2-in-1 top, the original one, because it's a super stretchy fabric. Unfortunately, with crochet we cannot make it 2-in-1 because crochet is not as stretchy. So if we would change this one to the other way that we can wear this top, it would be too loose. So you have to actually choose which one you want to do, if you want to do the first one, which is this one, or the second one, which is the one that I did in the video. I really loved this one also because I think the other way is not as flattering on me, so you can actually choose the one you want. I'm super excited to share this top with you because it's the quickest top I ever done in my life of crocheting. So I'm pretty excited to share this one with you. So I really hope you enjoy. And before we get on with today's video, I would like to introduce you to today's sponsor, Skillshare. I have used Skillshare for a couple of years now and I'm learning something new every week with Skillshare. Also, I'm someone that I love learning new things, so they have helped me a lot in that part of my life. If you haven't heard about Skillshare before, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands and thousands of classes that includes a combination of video lessons and class projects on topics including illustration, art, design, marketing, photography, video editing, and even crochet. Yes, they also have a lot of classes about crochet that I have been checking a lot lately because I do want to learn maybe something new. You never know, right? So no matter what your interests are, you will find something different and fun to learn on Skillshare. So currently I am taking a class to improve my YouTube skills. I know a lot of things already about YouTube, but learning from someone that it's even bigger than me, it's very interesting to know what they do and maybe to apply to my YouTube channel. So I'm taking this class, which is super interesting. This class is called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot and Edit with Marquise Brownlee, which is the person that it's giving this class. He's really good and he covers how to plan a video, the shooting of the content, the editing, and how to grow your channel, which I find really interesting as it's something I do and I want to improve even more my videos here on YouTube. What I love the most about this class is that he goes so much into detail and also on what gears that you can use at the beginning, and also he gives a lot of tips on how to grow, in which is so interesting. I really recommend you checking out this class. So for those interested, Skillshare, it's very affordable, less than $10 a month with their annual subscription, especially when you compare taking in-person classes that it's only one topic. With Skillshare you have unlimited access to all the classes, so that's really affordable and super good because you can just choose any subject that you want to learn, and if you're not liking it, you can just switch and then do another one. And because Skillshare is sponsoring today's video, with the link in my description is going to be the very first one. The very first 1,000 of you will get a free trial of the premium membership. So feel free to check it out. That's super fun, so you can explore your creativity, get inspired and learn new things just like me. So thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So now let's get on with today's video and let's learn on how to crochet this super fun top. So these are all the materials we are going to be using for today's project, starting with the yarns that I'm using. So these are the Iggy yarn from Teslan.com, and it's a number 2 yarn, which is a sports weight. And the shades here that I'm using, it's yellow, copper, and green. I will be linking them in the description below if you want to check them out. Also, I'm using a small pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a 3.5 millimeters hook, a 2 centimeters button. You can actually add a lace up detail at the back of the top, or you can use buttons as I'm going to be using in today's video. So these are 2 centimeters buttons, and I love these buttons because they are made out of coconut. I love them so much. I'll link them also in the description for you. Also, I am using here a thinner needle and also thread to sew the buttons in place. You can also use the yarn if you want, but I prefer using thread because then I can secure a little bit better in place. Also, I have here a measuring tape so I can measure everything for you guys. And last but not least, I'm using this super useful clips to clip the parts that I'm sewing together, and the parts will not be moving around when I'm sewing. So if you are looking for clips like that, I'll link in the description so you can check it out. So these are all the materials I'm using for today's video. So now let's move on into the little sketching that I do usually at the beginning of my videos. The top is very simple, and it's basically what you see in the picture, this one here. So we have the bottom, and then we have 2 kind of rectangles, triangles that goes like this. If you are using the 3 different colors as I am using in today's video, you will need 3 different parts to create this top. So you need the bottom, which is a longer rectangle. Oops. And then we will need 2 other parts, which is a little bit thicker, to create the top right here that goes around the neck and also to cover the boobs. So we will need 2 rectangles like this, all right, to create this top using 3 different yarns. If you wanted to create this top using 1 color only, you can make the bottom, and then you can make these 2 rectangles right here but together. So you basically will be continuing the part where I'm going to be showing you how to make one. So instead of fastening off right here to create the next color, you're just going to be continuing until you have the next one. And the measurements that I'm going to be taking for this top will be only one, because the other one we are going to be checking on our body, and I will explain that to you as well. So the only measurement will be under the bust, and it's going to be circumference. So I'm going to be adding a picture here if you are wondering where. You have to take this measurement, and my one is 77 centimeters. So it's basically under the bust going all the way around. So the very first one we are going to be creating will be this one here, that it's at the bottom of the top. And you will need the length for this part right here. I decided to do mine 12 centimeters. So you can do a little bit longer or even shorter, just as a bikini top. Let's first start with our copper yarn, which is going to be the color that I'm using for the bottom. So I have my yarn ready. So the very first thing we are going to be doing will be a slip knot. And from here we can start with our chain. So I'm doing a chain of 27 plus 1, which is basically a multiple of 3 plus 1. So I will have in total a chain of 28. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to be creating here my chain of 28, and then I will be measuring the chain for you. So I have here my chain of 28, as you can see. So now I'm going to be measuring my chain here. So when I measure without stretching, without pulling the chain, I have a chain of 12.5 centimeters, as you can see. So now we are going to be starting with the design here that I wanted to do for the bottom. I'm doing a different design for the bottom, and then half double crochets for the top, so it has a little bit more coverage, but the bottom we can do with a little design. So to create the very first row, we have to find the 5th chain from the hook right here. So we are going to be counting. We don't count the loop here as a stitch, as a chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one here. Into that stitch, so count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the 5th chain, we are going to be creating, here at the back of the chain, there is a little loop. We are going to get the back of the chain. And then here, we are going to be creating 3 double crochets into that same stitch, into that same chain. So 2 and 3. There we go. That's the first one. And now here we are going to be skipping 2. So here at the back you can see the little loops. So you're going to be skipping 1, 2 into the 3rd one. We are going to be repeating the same thing. So 3 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Skip 2 into the 3rd one, 3 double crochets. So I'm going to be doing here my shells, following the same steps, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So this is how it looks once I complete all the shells. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shells in total. Here at the end, what's gonna happen, you will have 2 stitches left. So all we have to do is to skip 1 and go into the very last one and create a double crochet. So grab the back loop and create a double crochet. So the end and the beginning will be exactly the same, as you can see. So now to go into the next row, we are going to be doing a different pattern. So we're going to be having one row with this pattern and the next row will be with a different pattern. So we have a really cute little pattern for the bottom of the top. So the first thing you have to do is to chain 3, turn project, and then we are going to be finding the 3 double crochets that we've created. And then we are going to be finding the middle stitch, so the middle double crochet. So right on top of that double crochet, the middle one, we are going to be creating a double crochet, a chain of 1, and then a double crochet, all in that same stitch. And then we are going to be repeating the same into the next stitch here in the middle. So find the next 3 double crochets, find the middle stitch, and then right on top of that stitch we are going to be creating a double crochet, a chain of 1, and then another double crochet, all in the same stitch. So find the middle stitch from these 3 double crochets right on top, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. So this is going to be the pattern that I'm going to be creating on top of the previous row. So now I'm just going to be continuing here with this pattern and then I'll meet you right at the end. So when I get here at the end, you will find the very last shell and then you're going to be doing exactly the same. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all in the same stitch into the middle double crochet. And then to finish it off, we want to have the same as the end here, as the beginning. In this case, we are going to be creating a double crochet right on top of the chain. So we are going to be counting 1, 2, 3. Right on top of the chain 3, chain number 3, we are going to be creating our last double crochet. So now we are going to move on into the next row and it's basically creating the shells from the very first row here, but on top of these little V's. So we are first going to be chaining 3, turning project, and now we are going to be creating the 3 double crochets inside the little V's, right on top here of the chain 1, going around the chain 1. So we are going to be creating the 3 double crochets right here. So 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to be finding the next V and create the 3 double crochets right on top of the V. So now find the next V right on top here into the chain 1 space, 3 double crochets, and I'm going to be repeating the same steps all the way down, and then I'll meet you right at the end to show you how to finish this row. So once you get here at the end, you're going to be creating your last shell on top of the last V, and then all you have to do, it's right on top of the chain 3, create your double crochet. So it's nice and straight here on the sides. So now to go into the next row, it's basically following the same as we did here into the second row. So chain 3, turn project, find the middle stitch here from the shell. Right on top of that, you're going to be creating a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And then go into the next middle stitch from the next shell. And you're going to be repeating the same all the way down. And then double crochet right at the end on top of the chain 3. So this is how the pattern looks. It's really, really nice. I think this is one of my favorite patterns because it's super, super quick to crochet, and also it looks really pretty. So what you have to do now is just repeat these 2 last rows here until you have the measurement that you have taken at the beginning of the video, which for me is 77 centimeters. So I'm going to be continuing here with my rows. Once I have this one completed, I will be back and then I'll let you know how many rows I did and also how to measure around your body and also how to measure on the measuring tape. So I have completed the bottom of my top, as you can see, and I have done 60 rows in total that went nicely around my rib cage under my boobs. So 60 rows in total. And now I'm going to be measuring that for you. First, without stretching this part, because it does stretch quite a lot, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to be measuring without stretching first. 69 centimeters. And if I stretch a little bit, it goes even over the centimeters that I need. So I need 77 and it reaches to around 79, 80 centimeters. So I'm happy with that because I have tried around my body, so I'll show you how that looks. And also I forgot to measure the length for you. So I have here 12 centimeters, all right, for the length here of the bottom of my top. So once I had this completed, sometimes I measure and then that's it, but sometimes I prefer trying it on around my body so I make sure that it's going to fit me. So once you have this completed while you're doing it, all the rows, what you can do is basically go around your body like this, and you want to make sure that it goes around and it overlaps just a little bit, as you can see. So that's how I did it, and it fits nicely, comfortable, not too tight, not too loose, because you want to make sure that this is nice and tight around your body so that the top part of the top looks nice. So that's all you want to do. All right, so you just want to make sure that it just overlaps a little bit, just like this. All right, so once you have this one completed, we can now fasten off. So I'm going to be cutting a little bit of the yarn here, and fasten off. I'm going to be leaving this one aside for now, and I'm going to be showing you how to make the cups, which is the top of our crop top. So this is how it looks. As you can see, the very first thing you have to do is to measure your boobs, which I'm gonna show you how to do that. It's a bit weird, but it's very, very important for you to measure that so you get the bottom here of the cup to fit you perfectly. So to measure how you want this to look on top of your boobs, all you have to do is to choose a measurement that it covers nicely around your boobs, just like this. From the beginning to the other side, from one side to the other. So I did 18 centimeters, as you can see. That gave enough coverage for my liking, but you can actually do a little bit more or even less if you want, if you're a little bit naughty. So I'm going to be doing 18 centimeters for my cup, for the top half of my top, all right? So now let's show you how to do this. I'm using the green one for my next one because I have the yellow one completed. So right at the beginning, before you create your slip knot, you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of yarn, just like this. You can see that it's like double or even 3 times the size here of the bottom of the cup right here, because we want to use this same yarn to sew the cup into the bottom of the top. You can also crochet right here if you want. You can measure where you want the cups to go, and then you can actually crochet right on top here. I don't really liked how that looked, and I think, in my opinion, it's the best if you do this way, if you sew it in place, but then you can actually decide how you want to do that. So I'm going to be leaving a little bit of yarn, just like this. And I'm going to be starting with my slip knot. So for the cups here, I'm doing a chain of 37 plus 2. So I'm going to be creating my chain, and then I'm going to be measuring that for you as I did with the bottom of the top, so you can see how that turns out, all right? So I'm going to be doing here my chain of 39. And then I will be back to show you the measurement of my chain. So here I have my chain of 39, and it's currently measuring 18 centimeters. All right. So now we can start with half double crochets right on top of our chain. So once you have your chain ready, we are going to be skipping the first chain here, the second one, and into the third one we are going to be starting with our half double crochets, and also we are going to be using the back loop here to create our half double crochets. So go into that third chain, and then you're going to be creating a half double crochet, and then we can create half double crochets all the way down the chain. So how you create a half double crochet? You wrap the yarn around the hook, you go through the stitch, and then you're going to pull up a loop. Now you're going to be having 3 loops on the hook. All you have to do is to yarn over, pull through all the loops, just like this. And now we can repeat the same all the way down. So I'm going to be creating all my half double crochets here, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So I'm here into my very last half double crochet, and here we have the very first row completed. So going across here, I have 38 stitches, including the chain 2 here at the beginning. We are not counting the chain as a stitch, but we are creating them at the beginning. So let me explain now how I'm going to be doing for this one here. So the very first thing you have to do is to chain 2 and turn project. The very first half double crochet, it's gonna go into that very first stitch. It's very obvious where it is. You can see this very first little gap here. That's the first stitch. So create the first half double crochet and then follow all the stitches that we have here in the base and create your half double crochets. You should have 37 half double crochets, 38 including the chain here at the beginning. So once I get here at the end, we are going to be having the last 2 stitches that we have to create our half double crochets, and then the chain right here at the beginning. So this one is half double crochet 36 and this one is 37. So to move into the next row, it's basically exactly the same as the previous one. Chain 2, turn project, half double crochet into that very first stitch, and then go all the way down with half double crochets. So I got here at the end again, so I'm going to be creating half double crochet number 36, and then we have the last stitch right here, as you can see. So we will have the chain at the end and then the last stitch. So this one is half double crochet number 37. So go through that last stitch and then create your last half double crochet. This is going to keep the sides here really nice and straight, so we don't have to do any finishing. I'm not going to be doing any finishing on mine, so that's why I'm trying my best to do as straight as possible. So all you have to do is to repeat these rows until you have the sizing that you need. So I'm going to be doing here 51 rows for the cups of my top, for the top of my top. It's so funny when you say top of the top, right? But it's for the top half of my top. And then once I have this one completed, I'll show you how I've tried towards my body, so you know exactly how many rows you have to do. So I have the green and the yellow one completed. The yellow one I had since the beginning because I wanted to know exactly how many rows I had to do, and also to know what I had to do to get to the style that I want to go for, which is exactly the same as the top that we are following. So I have the green one completed. I've done 51 rows for both of them. So once you have this completed, we can now go ahead and fasten off. I'm going to show you next how you're going to be kind of measuring towards your body to know exactly how many rows you have to do. I'm going to fasten off mine right here before I show you because I don't want anything to unravel. And also you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of yarn to sew here the ends together that we are going to be sewing at the back of our neck and also the bottom here of the cup. All right, that's why we are leaving a little bit extra. So how you're going to check if this is going to fit the top half of your body? It's basically grabbing one of the ends and you're going to be placing that right at the back of your neck, right at the back. You're going to be holding it right here. And then you're going to be crossing it to the other side until it reaches the bottom of your boobs, just like this. So that basically means that it's going to fit you, all right? Hopefully it's gonna work, because I don't know, I haven't checked yet because they are not sewed together, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. That's how I do everything when I'm crocheting. So that's how I've measured towards my body. That's what I always do. So now let's move on into the next part, which is basically sewing all the parts together. Like, how simple is this top, right? So the first thing, actually, before we even sew these parts together, we want to make sure that we know where the cups are going to go. So you want to place this one, the bottom part, around your body first. Usually it's good to clip right here to pin this in place And then you want to turn this part to the back. So it's right in the middle of my back. I don't know if I can actually show you. It's right at it's right in the middle. That is so weird. All right. And now you want to get some more clips. I'm going to get 4 clips. And we are going to be placing this right here. We are going to be kind of creating a little ruching right here. Just like that. And you're going to be choosing where this is going to go. And we also want to leave a little space here of about, I don't know, maybe 5 centimeters. I thought about 4 or 5 centimeters. So around that much. So yeah. So choose where it's going to go. I think I want to do it right here. So all you have to do is to place a clip here on this side and then another one here on the other side where your boob finish. All right, so that's where we are going to be attaching this one in place, and then I'm just going to be repeating the same here on the other side. I know that I have to follow the blue ones which are on this side, but that's what you want to do, because when you do this, at least we know the centimeters that we have in between the clips, so we can then fold this in half and then decide where the cups will go. So now we are going to be starting to sew everything together. So the first thing I'm going to be sewing is the back of the neck. So I have here where I left off, which is basically the last row, row number 51, where I have a smaller and a longer yarn to sew the parts together. So I'm going to be threading this yarn into a tapestry needle, and then I'm going to be just sewing this close. Very simple, grabbing one stitch from one side, one from the other, and sewing it together. You want to make sure that you do all the sewings on the reverse of the project. So what I like to do is to place a stitch marker so I remember that the sewings are on this side. All right, so this is the reverse of my project. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sew here the ends together. So I'm getting towards the end here now. Just want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Here at the end, just like that. And now all we have to do, I usually go through that stitch one more time. I create a little loop here at the end, and then I go through the loop and fasten off. And all we have to do now is to weave this yarn in. Once you've done the weave-in, we can now cut this yarn and we are done here. And also here on the other side, I'm also going to weave this yarn in so I don't have to do that at the end. Before I move on into the next step, which is sewing the top with the bottom, I'm going to weave these 2 yarns here in. And before we sew the top and the bottom, we want to make sure that the clips are placed correctly right here, and also that they are spaced out correctly, and also they are in the middle. So you want to fold the top here in half. As you can see, they are not straight. And we are going to be placing a stitch marker here in the middle, just so we know that this is the middle of the top here at the front. All right. And we want to know how much we want here at the front. I think I want around 6 centimeters. So take this measurement for the cleavage and divide it by 2. So that's 3 centimeters. So you're going to be placing that 3 centimeters right here with the middle of the top here at the front. And then you're going to be placing 1 clip here into the 6 centimeters and another clip here at the beginning. All right, and then you're going to be measuring 10 centimeters and you're going to be placing the next clip right here into 10 centimeters. And then you're going to be doing exactly the same right here, 10 centimeters. So once you have this now completed, we can see that it's nice and straight. That's really good. We can remove the stitch marker from the middle. So I have, at the moment, I have the reverse here facing the table. Here is where I've done the weave in. And I have the top with also the reverse towards the table. So it's basically like this, as you can see. The reverse is at the back. And then we are going to be sewing the bottom here of the cup to here. The first thing you have to do is to go through the very first row here with this yarn so we can create a little ruching. So thread this yarn into your tapestry needle. And what we are going to be doing is going through the stitches in a zigzag motion all the way to the end. So start right here into the very first stitch. You can skip one, go into the next one, skip one, go into the next one, just like this in a zigzag motion. So once you have the yarn going through the bottom, all we have to do now is to pull this yarn just like this, so it creates the ruching here at the bottom. And you want to make sure that it's the same size as the clips right here, so 10 centimeters. So I think this is good. Let me just double check. So yeah, that's 10 centimeters. And then here at the end, so this is not going to be moving around, I'm going to go through this last stitch twice. Let's see, check if it's 10. So go through a couple of times and then create a little loop into the last one and then just fasten off. So this one is not going to be moving around, this yarn. So it stays right here so we can sew this in place. So you want to make sure now that this is on the reverse. So turn on the reverse. So this is my reverse. And also you want to turn this one into the reverse and into the side that it was on the right side. So this is going to be my right side. So the yellow one is going to be on my right side and the green one is going to be on my left side. So here I have the yarn on this side. I'm going to be starting right at the beginning of the clip. Here. I'm going to be removing this clip. You can always clip here together, as you can see. So you know that you're going to be sewing exactly the right amount here at the bottom. And you can always go back and measure that. So as you can see, we have exactly 10 centimeters from the starting of the sewing. And all we have to do now is to sew the two parts together. So once you've done the sewing, this is how it looks here on the other side. And now all we have to do is to weave this yarn in, and then you're going to be repeating the same here on the other side. So once you've done one side, all you have to do now is to bring the other side just like this. You can see that it's going around just like this. I have the reverse and the reverse here, as you can see. And then you're going to be repeating the same thing to this side here. You're going to first do the ruching, and then once you have the ruching, you're going to be attaching here to the other side. So as you can see here, I have finished sewing the top and the bottom together. So what we have to do now, it's basically the last thing to complete this top. I know it's so quick to make. It's basically to add the buttons here at the back. For the buttonholes here, if you are wondering, I am actually using the pattern as the buttonholes because here at the end, as you can see, I have left the little V's as the very last row, so I can use these little gaps here as the buttonholes. I'm going to be checking how many buttons I'm going to be doing. I was thinking 4, so it's nicely closed together, but then if 3 works, I can do 3. But I think 4 looks really good. All right, I think I'm going to be doing 4 buttons just like this, because then I can use these 2 as a buttonhole and then the ones that are right here. All right, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sewing here on this side where the green part is. As you can see, this is the right side of my top. I'm going to be getting my thread and needle to sew my buttons in place, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So when I have my buttons sewed in place, I will be back and I'll show you how the top looks and the finished project. So once you have the buttons ready, we can now close the top by using these little gaps that we have here on the other side. So yeah, this is how it looks. As you can see, it looks pretty good and secured in place, and when I pull apart, it doesn't open. It does not have any gaps in between the buttons, which I love that so much. Oh my god, we are actually finished with this top, and I cannot believe how quick that was to make. We are finished. I think the longest thing to do are the little cups here, they are quite long, right? The top half of our crop top, because it's half the crochets and then you have to do pretty long. This was the longest part, but I was watching Netflix and I've managed to do this in like probably 2 hours. And watching Netflix for 2 hours, that's nothing, right? This one was pretty easy, and joining everything as you saw here, it was pretty fast. So I'm really impressed with this top. I haven't tried it on. I want to try it on because I don't know if it's gonna work, because this is crochet and the original one, it's fabric, so I'm not sure how this is gonna look when it's crossed at the front. Maybe we can give this a try together with the top underneath, and then I can just see how I'm going to put this on. I look like a mess right now, but I think we can give this top a try together on top of this top that I have right here. I'm pretty confused about this top because it looks so funny. at this. But it looks so fun at the same time. All right, let's try this on together, shall we? So what I was thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. So, okay. So what I was thinking is, so I have the reverse of the top right here. So put it on. Oh my god. We can cross it. Oh my god, this is so funny. We can cross it like this. Oh, it looks so fun. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then we can button. Oh, it works. Oh my god. No, no. Oh my god, it actually works and I can button it by myself. It's probably not gonna be straight, but just so we can see, and me trying here with you for the okay, it closes. Oh my god, look at this top. Summertime, here I come. Guys, I love it. Oh my god, I have boobs. You know, I'm a cup size B, so they are pretty small. This made them bigger. Oh my god, this top is so fun. Should we try the other way? Hopefully it's gonna work the other way because it's pretty long and I don't have a lot of boobs. So the other way, it's pretty simple. It's just like this. But you see, it's gonna be too big. So like this, it doesn't work. That's why it's kind of like stretchy, the original one, because you can actually wear both ways. So if you have bigger boobs, maybe this can work. And also when I was doing this top, I wanted to do it crossed at the front because I love that style. And I don't wear anything like this on me because I don't have any boobs and it's not flattering on me. It's not flattering on me, so that's why I didn't even think about that. So if you want to do like this, you want to just make less rows here, so it stops right here, all right? And then it's a little bit tighter if you want to do it like that. So the other way, it's what I'm gonna do. Oh my god, it looks so fun. I love it. Oh my god, I love everyone. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I look like a mess. I'm gonna do the intro tomorrow. I'm super excited about this top. So yeah, we are done with today's video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this crazy me trying on this top for the very first time with you. Oh my god, that was crazy because I thought this wasn't going to work. So basically the 2-in-1 for crochet doesn't really work because it's not as stretchy as a lycra fabric or a stretchy fabric. But for what I wanted, which was the crossed front, it worked. So I'm pretty happy, and you can actually make the other one if you want. So yeah, I'm pretty happy, excited that it worked because I thought it wasn't going to work, this craziness. Oh my god. And I cannot wait to share with you. So if you end up making this top, do tag me on Instagram so I can see you wearing yours too, and also the colors that you have chosen, because this top is so fun. You will love this top. You have to try. It's so different and so fun at the same time. So yeah, if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do. Also, don't forget to subscribe and also to turn on the little notification bell to receive a notification every time I post a new video. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking out until the end, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye! Oh my god, I'm so excited! Crazy top, look at this.